Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. I've seen this video idea going around on BookTube and I really wanted to do it for myself. So today I'm going to be tier ranking every single book that I've ever given 5 stars to. I just went on my Goodreads and I pulled all the books from there that I've ever ranked 5 stars. I can't remember how long I've had my Goodreads account for, but I know for a fact that some of these books I read all the way back in middle school. So it'll be interesting to go through those and see if I still feel the same way. I know even books that I gave 5 stars to recently I've probably changed my mind about, and just because I give a book 5 stars doesn't mean I like all my 5-star reads the same. There are definitely some I like more than others, so I think it'll be fun to go through and tier rank them all. I'm gonna go through the tiers first with you guys and just explain what they all mean. Okay, so my top tier is gonna be Changed My Life. These are books that are my very favorite. Ever since reading them, I think about them every single day, and every single book I've read since reading these I just compare to these books, so it's so hard for me to give out 5 stars because these books just like really changed me, changed how I think about reading. 6-star read is going to be a little bit better than a 5-star read. I absolutely love it, but it's not best of the best. It's not a book that I like compare every single book to. Solid 5-star read is self-explanatory. It's a solid 5-star read. I still consider it a 5-star. I love it, but it's not best of the best. It's not my absolute favorite. And then 5-star to me are going to be more comfort reads. These are maybe books that I just like read at the perfect time, or books that I can see that there's flaws about them, but I just loved everything else about it so much that I could overlook the things that were wrong with the book. Would lower my rating, also self-explanatory. I no longer consider these books to be 5-star reads, and I don't think any of the books I'm going to put in this category are going to be like lowering it from a 5-star, now it's a 2-star. It's probably something like now it's like a 4.5 star or 4.75. It's just not quite at the 5-star level. And then would have to reread. Like I mentioned, a lot of these books I read all the way back in middle school, so I probably don't remember some of them, or I would just have to read it again to see if I would still feel the same way. Okay, so starting out with I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I know a lot of people don't give ratings to nonfiction memoirs. I'm rating this personally just on how it impacted me, and I gave this one 5 stars because I just thought it was so impactful, and I thought Jeanette was so brave for sharing her story. And although this covers really hard topics, I would consider it like one of my favorites. I loved this book. I'd probably put this one in solid 5-star. And then the To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy, I have all 3 books in the trilogy on here. I didn't give every single book in the trilogy 5 stars, but as a whole, that trilogy to me is 5 stars. I just love it so much. It's definitely a comfort read to me. Even though I don't relate to Lara Jean now as the person I am today, I definitely was Lara Jean like in middle and high school, and it's just such a dose of nostalgia to me to read these books. So I'm gonna put them in 5 stars to me. Looking for Alaska by John Green. This is one of the ones I read all the way back in middle school. I remember this being really impactful to me, and I feel like every middle schooler, high schooler can relate to just having such a John Green phase. I would definitely have to reread this one though because I don't remember anything about it, but I do remember loving it so much, and I feel like if I was to reread it, I probably would still absolutely love it. The Summer I Turned Pretty, another Jenny Han that just feels so nostalgic to me. I get that it's very YA, a little bit cringy, and I could see where it wouldn't be 5 stars for everyone, but it's just such a nostalgic comfort read to me that it has to go in 5 stars to me. Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Okay, this one actually did change my life because I'm pretty sure this is the first thriller I ever read, and I think it's one of the first plot twists I ever read where I was just like so shook by it. I flew through this book, and I remember reading it at a time where I wasn't the biggest reader, so that says a lot because this book is pretty chunky. But at the same time, I don't know if I'd put it in Change My Life just because I don't really think about it that much today. But I would say that I compare every thriller I read to Gone Girl. That's why it's so hard for me to give thrillers 5 stars, because I feel like Gone Girl is just the blueprint. I'm gonna put it in 6-star read. Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I remember after finishing Gone Girl, I was looking up books that were similar to Gone Girl, and I think Girl on the Train is probably the closest I've come to a book like that since reading Gone Girl. I love this book. I did not like the movie adaptation though. I thought it was not the best, but I loved the plot twist in here. I thought it was so good. I'm gonna put this one in solid 5-star. Fault in Our Stars by John Green, another OG middle school book. I remember how this one impacted me. Like, I definitely remember crying. I remember watching the movie and being obsessed. But I think I would have to reread it because I don't know if it would hit the same if I read it today. Where'd You Go, Bernadette? I remember nothing about this book. This was another middle school, early high school read. All I remember is we're following a girl who wants to go to Antarctica, I think, or somewhere in the Arctic. But I remember really liking it, and I know they made a movie. I would definitely have to reread that one though. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. My Colleen Hoover books. I really don't like all the hate that Colleen Hoover gets. I feel like it's so unfair, and I hate when people are like, oh, you're not a real reader if you read Colleen Hoover. But I feel like she got so many people back into reading. Her books are so easy to read. They're so bingeable. I get why people have critiques of her books, and everyone's entitled to their opinion. But I honestly am going to put these in 5 stars to me. I probably would not lower my rating because I feel like at the time I read these books, they just really hit for me and they helped me get back into reading. The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. I don't know if this is a solid 5-star or a 6-star read. I love this book so much, but I don't know if it's on like a Gone Girl level of a thriller, but it comes close. It's definitely one of my favorites. I'll put it in solid 5-star. The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Okay, this book is cringy. It is not like a literary masterpiece by any means. I can see where someone would not like it, but I just had the best time reading it, and it made me fall in love with hockey romances and hockey as a sport, so it's gonna go in 5-star to me. One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid, I would say, is just a solid 5-star. I love that book. It made me cry, and I really connected to the main character. Carrie Soto Is Back, I probably feel the same about. I really connected to our main character in that one, and I'm not a big tennis person, but I was just so enthralled by the story. Where the Crawdads Sing is probably another solid 5-star. I just loved how all the elements of that book, all the different genres blended together so well. Historical fiction, mystery, romance. I just thought it was done really, really well. Normal People by Sally Rooney changed my life. I can see where people would not like this book. I understand why it's frustrating, but I just related to it so much, and it truly altered my brain chemistry. Every single book I read since reading that book, I compare to that book, and so far nothing has come close. I would literally go to war for that book. Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coco Mellers. This book is a work of art. I hate that it's Coco Mellers' only book. I'm literally counting down the seconds until her next book because I need to read more from her. And the people that have gotten arcs of her newest book that's coming out, I think in May, they all say it's amazing, so I cannot wait. I'm gonna put this one in solid 5-star read. Fourth Wing, I'm actually rereading this book right now, and it's making me love it even more than I loved it the first time around. And I'm picking up on things that I missed the first time around, and just like little clues and foreshadowing, and I'm having the best time on the reread. I feel like by the time I finish it, it could be in the 6-star category, but for now I'm gonna say solid 5-star because at the time I first read it, I remember saying I don't think I'm as obsessed with this book as everyone else is. And then the follow-up, Iron Flame, unpopular opinion, but I loved this one even more than I loved Fourth Wing. This is a 6-star read to me. I just loved everything about it. People We Meet on Vacation. This might surprise some people, but I actually am going to put this in Changed My Life. This was the very first contemporary romance book I ever read, and I compare every single romance I've read since that book to People We Meet on Vacation. I feel like the way I feel about People We Meet on Vacation is the way a lot of people feel about beach read. I feel like people are either a People We Meet on Vacation person or a beach read person. And I think most people prefer beach read, but for me, People We Meet on Vacation just does it for me. It made me fall in love with the tropes in there. And like I said, every romance book I read since then, I'm trying to find that same feeling I felt when I read that book. Finding and Keeping 13 were my favorite books that I read in 2023. But I don't know if they changed my life. They're definitely 6-star reads, but I actually don't think about these books every single day. I am obsessed with them though, but they just aren't like brain chemistry altering books for me. The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth is one of my very favorite thrillers. I would say it's more like literary fiction with suspense as kind of a subplot, but it is so, so good. And it made me obsessed with Sally Hepworth. I think I'm going to put this one in solid 5-star, but I feel like if I reread this book, it could potentially be in the 6-star read category because one of the characters in here is one of my very favorite characters I've ever read about. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. This kind of also changed the game for me in terms of contemporary romances because this was the first book I ever read that had smut in it, and it just changed some things for me. But to be completely honest, I don't know if it would still be a 5-star. I feel like it might be like a 4.75 star, but something about Ali Hazelwood's writing just really works for me. I don't know, I feel like if I reread it, it would be a solid 5-star. I feel like there's 4 different sections I could put this one in. I'm so conflicted. I feel like I would have to reread it. I feel like right now I would lower my rating, but I also feel like it's a comfort read, so it's a 5-star to me. I'm gonna put it in 5-star to me. What is it, chapter 16? That's crazy. That chapter changed me. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin is a solid 5-star read. The writing in that book is so beautiful. I just absolutely loved it. One of my favorites from last year. Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. This one I actually do like more than The Love Hypothesis. So now I feel confident about where I put it because Love on the Brain would be a solid 5-star to me. Something about the way she writes romances just works perfectly. I didn't love her latest book as much, but her first 2 just are favorites of mine. Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. The way I feel about this book, I think most people feel about Love and Other Words, and I know people say that this book is like a copy of that book, but something about this one just worked better for me. I feel like I could see the motivations of the characters more, and the ending didn't bother me the way it did some people, whereas the ending of Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, I had an issue with. I feel like it was not well explained at all. I'm putting this one in solid 5-star. I think it's such a good summer romance. Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This is the first book I read since reading People We Meet on Vacation where I felt like it came close to that book. It's not a 6-star read though, but looking at some of these books in this category, I feel like I maybe like it more, but it's not at the 6-star read level. I'm gonna say solid 5-star. I love it. I feel like it ticked all the boxes for me of what I'm looking for when I read a contemporary romance. Okay, and the last 7 books we have are all from the Harry Potter series, and these are all gonna go in the changed my life category because Harry Potter got me into reading. I gave all books 5 stars. Every book I've read since then, I compare to the series, especially fantasy books. And to be so honest, I don't think I'm ever going to read a book in my entire life that I love as much as I love this series because, like I said, it got me into reading and I just am so thankful for that. So here's what the tiers look like finalized. I feel pretty confident about it, and it makes me happy that I didn't put any in would lower my rating. I was kind of on the fence about putting some in there, but I feel pretty confident. That's why I'm so picky when it comes to giving books 5 stars, because I feel like it just needs to have that extra something that I know is going to stick with me long after reading the book. So I feel really good about this, and these are all my 5-star reads. So that is going to conclude today's video. It was short and sweet, but I feel like I don't give out a lot of 5 stars for a reason, and now I feel even more confident in my rating system and why I give the books I do certain ratings. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Let me know what other kind of videos you'd want to see from me in 2024. I love making tier ranking videos, so if you have ideas, drop it below in a comment. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit hit the red button to stick around to my channel so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you so soon in my next video. Bye guys.